This video discusses Chaucer's relationship to English literature and the role of language in Chaucer's England. I'll begin with a point that should interest all of you who are interested in writing your own literature in English. Chaucer occupies a pivotal place in the tradition of creative writing in English. Namely, he has long been celebrated as the father of English literature. That is, the first person to elevate the English language as a medium for writing great poetry. Chaucer, in essence, got English creative writing going as an idea. A key context for this understanding of Chaucer is the state of language in Chaucer's England. Chaucer lived during the 14th century, between 1340 and 1400. At that time in England, there were 3 key languages. Can you guess them? The 3 key languages in Chaucer's England were Latin. This was the language of the medieval Christian church, the language of the Bible, theological writings, works written by monks, and many, many more texts. Also, French was a very important language at this time. French became a key language in England starting in 1066, when the French-speaking Normans invaded and took over the island, and subjugated the English. English still had that association in many respects in Chaucer's time. It was the language of the commons, the language of ordinary, everyday speech. Now, there were poetic works written in English before Chaucer. By and large, this early creative writing in English consisted of popular romances, tales of knights, war, adventure, and love. But when scholars discuss the history of creative writing in English, they typically refer to those early English popular romances as having absolutely no literary merit. For most scholars, this early English writing is basically garbage or trash. According to this view of English literary history, it was only when Chaucer began to write that English first became a medium for literature, for great poetry. Okay, let's stop right there. Chaucer was the first to elevate the English language. He was the first to write great English poetry. This sounds pretty humanist. At the very least, it does not quite fit the stereotype of medieval people being not interested in the world, let alone their individual achievement in the world. Moreover, this idea that Chaucer was a great writer in English is something that he himself in various ways encouraged. Here is a quote from one of the Canterbury Tales, in which Chaucer places a reference to himself in the figure of a character, a pilgrim known as the Man of Law. At this point in the Canterbury Tales, the Man of Law has been asked to tell a tale, and he responds by saying, and I'm going to read a little Middle English here, "I can write no thrifty tale sign, that Chaucer hath said him in switch English as he can." In other words, the Man of Law says, there isn't a tale that I could tell that Chaucer hasn't already told. So Chaucer is bragging, having a character basically brag about himself. There's nothing in this passage from the Canterbury Tales that conforms to stereotypes about the Middle Ages. There's nothing here about heaven, God, life is a mere pilgrimage to heaven or hell. No, this is about Chaucer, the man, doing amazing things with English. The man of law then goes on and on about Chaucer's achievement, listing all the works that Chaucer has written. In other words, Chaucer's ambitions actually do overlap with those associated with the humanists of the Renaissance.